Hey guys, you know you're just in the mood to feel a little bit sad? Yeah, so that's why I'm going to be reading some sad Reddit stories. Hope you guys enjoy.
Am I the a-hole for wanting to go to the funeral of a girl I helped get addicted to drugs? I'm 26 and clean of heroin for 3 years. I was also a piece of poo and used to deal for a while. I managed to get a beautiful girl named Macy when I first started getting into the thick of things. She knew who I was, but said she loved me. I will regret this for the rest of my life, but I was the person who shut up Macy for the first time. After that, there was no stopping her. She stuck around with me, probably because I was her dealer more than anything, but I got clean and never saw her again for a long time. A year ago, she reached out to me on Facebook and told me that she had been clean for a few months and that she said she didn't hate me for what happened and she hoped I was still clean. Last week, I got a call from my sister who told me she saw on Facebook that Marcy had OD'd and there was a funeral service this upcoming Thursday. I immediately just burst into tears because I hoped this would never happen and I feel so much guilt over it. I want to go to the funeral service for her, but I'm afraid that my presence would be unwanted. At the most, I would just slip in the back, pay my respects, and leave. I need to do this for myself. Am I the a-hole for wanting to go? Yes. You need to do this for yourself. What about her family? You would be the a-hole if you went. I mean, I understand addiction is a disease, but you're definitely the a-hole for getting her into that. Update. I want to sincerely thank everyone who commented. Everyone's comments were appreciated, including those that were less than pleasant. Since I received such great advice on my original post, I feel like I had an obligation to update, and I'm trying to follow through with all aspects of my life, even internet ones. The funeral service was held this past Thursday. Before then, I brought all the advice I received online and brought it into the real world and talked to both my therapist and sponsor about how I was feeling and what I should do. My sponsor was straight with me and told me that I would be putting myself in danger by going and that I should do something else that day to grieve. When Thursday rolled around, I was a mess. I seriously considered both just going to the funeral or using again. Instead, I grabbed my dog and went on a road trip. We went to the beach and just hung out, just the two of us. I'm doing okay this week, but obviously I'm still not doing great. I haven't reached out to any of Marcy's family and don't plan to. I understand how devastating this would be. That's it. Take care. Okay, I'm really glad you decided not to go because I can't even imagine being a family member from her and then seeing the guy that did that to her in the crowd of her funeral. Look, I'm glad you're doing better, but you should stay out of her family's life. Our rock-solid relationship has imploded in a single night and I'm completely blindsided. This is from Bathtub Mermaid. My partner, 25 male, is my 26 female rock and I'm his. Literally, he tells me that all the time, including yesterday. We've been together for 5 years and have a truly wonderful relationship. Always talking, laughing, comfortable with one another. Able to communicate even when we disagree. After I survived abuse as a child and struggled with unhealthy romantic relationships in the past, the fact we love each other in a respectful, secure, and profoundly healthy way is truly my biggest blessing, and I wake up every day so happy and grateful for him. He is an incredible man with so much drive, intelligence, kindness, and gifts to the world. About 1.5 years ago, it came up for the first time that we saw ourselves getting married one day. It was such a beautiful moment, and it rocked my world to have been so vulnerable, said those words, and have him say them too. Since then, it's been something incredibly happy that I get a hold in my heart and look forward to. The subject has come up sporadically since then, but I haven't wanted to push it too far since we are young and it's still very much an eventually thing. Both of our parents are divorced and his comes from money. We got a lot of strong advice growing up not to marry young and to protect his assets, to see it from a more financial view than I have ever thought of. Nevertheless, the thought makes me happy that we often daydream about the future we'll build together. The little house in New Hampshire that we hope to buy and the dogs and chickens we'll have. These are conversations he participates in and brings it up on his own all the time. I want to be able to talk casually about the marriage aspect too. To go to bed with a sleepy, can't wait to marry you, or love of my life. But for some reason, recently whenever the subject has come up, he has climbed up and made it feel really serious. This culminated maybe 2 months ago with a really weird conversation in which I sensed he might not have processed what marriage really means to him in the way I had. That he wasn't ready to be talking about this in the way that I was, or as much as he had let on. I told him I don't want to put a gun to his head, that this is just something that makes me happy to think about and to talk about, and I tell him everything. I said I love him for him, and I'd wait as long as he needs, but that I firmly didn't want to bring up the subject again until he was comfortable discussing it. I wanted to relieve the pressure on him, and I hadn't mentioned it since. Well, yesterday we spent a really lovely day getting lunch and hiking with my family. They live far away, so we don't see them very often. My stepsister and her fiancé were there as well, and of course there was a little bit of light conversation about their upcoming wedding. My boyfriend was his usual friendly, outgoing self. I noticed he seemed quiet on the way home and later that evening, so I asked if he was worried about work, but he just said he was tired from a long day travelling. I made him a drink, kissed him on the forehead like I always do, and promised we could do whatever he wanted to relax that night. Just what I normally do when I can tell he's stressed, try to show empathy and take care of him. But then, as I'm making dinner, he comes up over to me and drops this bomb. He came over to me crying and said spending time with an engaged couple and barely even talking about their wedding had sent him into a panic, and he didn't know if he could ever see himself getting married. I was completely blindsided. I tried to pass what he was saying, but it was all like my brain was stuck. Evidently, he said he had been locking himself in his office at work all week crying about it. I kept asking him why he would say he would want to marry me if he didn't. He said he was lying, basically, that he wanted to give me what he knew I wanted to make me happy. I could just stare at him open-mouthed. I kept trying to pinpoint if he was saying to me, I don't think I'll be ready to get married for a long time, or I don't think I'll ever be ready to get married. And I really don't think he knows himself. I don't think he's processed marriage at all, and this is the first time it's hitting him. He kept saying stuff about not knowing where his career will lead or if he'll have money. He has a great job, an outstanding network, and is definitely not poor. Neither of us are. And I was just like, we're a partnership. You wanted to be with me yesterday. You want to be with me today. Do you want to be with me tomorrow? Yes, he said. I said, well, that's all that matters. We have a life we love and will take on the future together one day. I'm devastated. He left for his stepmother's house and I don't know when he'll be home. I cannot take another sleeping pill or my heart will stop, but I can't sleep a wink. I literally spiked 100-degree fever and spent all night sweating and freezing. I have no idea it was possible to be in so much pain it makes you physically sick. This person is the bedrock of my life. We have always had rock-solid confidence that we can trust each other, be vulnerable around each other, and be our full authentic selves without inhibition or fear of judgment. We share everything together and we are best friends. He even said that over and over as he sobbed and told me he loved me and that he didn't want to get married. Hours ago, I had the most beautiful and solid relationship in the world. Now I don't know if we're going to break up. I'm reeling. I feel like I've been stabbed in the back by my safe space. The earth fell out from under me and I don't even know what to think anymore. What do I even do or say to save this? Was I too strong in voicing my desire to get married that I scared him off? Has anyone else gone through something similar? Oh, that's terrible. I don't think it was you saying it because, as you said, he hadn't had a problem with it until he actually saw, a couple around your age that were about to get married. That is so sad, and I wish you nothing but the best.
If you guys made it all the way to the end, thank you so much for listening. I feel like I'm going to read some wholesome stories next video, so hope you guys are looking forward to that. Anyway, bye bye.